The Philadelphia Eagles are heading into one of the most critical stretches of their season, and the buzz around the team just keeps growing louder. Trade rumors are heating up, the offense is under heavy scrutiny, and there's a sense of urgency creeping into the walls of the NovaCare complex. While the Week 7 matchup against the Minnesota Vikings looms large, what's happening off the field might be just as important as what happens on it. From potential big-name trades to the shifting roles inside the locker room, this is shaping up to be a defining moment for Philly. Now, let's start with what's going on in the trade market. With the deadline approaching right after Week 9, there's every reason to believe that Howie Roseman is working the phones nonstop. If there's one thing we've learned over the years, it's that Howie never sits still. The man has built a reputation as one of the most aggressive general managers in the entire NFL, and he's already proven this year that he's willing to make bold moves. Just look at the flurry of trades leading into roster cut-down day. John Mechie, Jaquan Bennett, Tank Bigsby. Howie's fingerprints are all over this team. He even brought back Fred Johnson. This is not a front office that waits around and hopes things improve. They go out and make things happen. So what areas might the Eagles target? The most glaring need right now is on the defensive line. Whether it's defensive tackle or edge rusher, this team is lacking that extra burst off the line, and it's starting to show. The surprise retirement of Zadarius Smith didn't help matters either. If Philadelphia wants to make a serious playoff push, they'll need to shore up that pass rush. A name like Jeffrey Simmons from the Titans instantly comes to mind. He's versatile, can play inside or kick out to defensive end in a 3-4 scheme, and he's a game changer. You could also see the Eagles take a swing at an edge rusher or even a hybrid outside linebacker who can get after the quarterback consistently. Another position that could use some reinforcements is cornerback. The Eagles are thin on the outside, and they need someone who can hold it down opposite Darius Slay. There's also been chatter about the safety position, and honestly, the idea of bringing back C.J. Gardner-Johnson has real traction. He's sitting on the Ravens practice squad, and all the Eagles would have to do is elevate him to the active roster. There's no rule stopping them. In fact, the buzz has already started. C.J. followed the Eagles on social media again, even liked a few posts. Feels like something's brewing there. Offensively, things have not been smooth sailing. The interior offensive line has struggled all season long. And while it's tough to find quality linemen via trade, because let's face it, good offensive linemen are rare and the teams that have them are not letting them go, Howie might still try to make something happen. The Eagles can't afford to let the offensive line continue to underperform, especially when you've got a quarterback like Jalen Hurts who thrives with clean pockets and a strong running game. Trading for a high-level guard is not easy, but if there's one GM who might find a way, it's Howie. Now, zooming out a bit, ESPN's Adam Schefter recently put out a report highlighting the increased activity around NFL trade deadlines in recent years. Over the past 6 years, the league has seen 88 trades during the month of October leading up to the deadline, an average of nearly 15 per year. The NFL, which used to be relatively quiet this time of year, has suddenly become as wild as the NBA or MLB when it comes to mid-season deals. And a big part of that is because of general managers like Roseman, younger, bolder, more willing to take risks than the old guard who didn't like messing with the roster mid-season. Look, every GM has hits and misses. Even Howie. Some of his off-season moves this year haven't panned out. He tried to be frugal in a few spots, and it's come back to bite him. But no one can question the fact that this man has built a Super Bowl-caliber roster multiple times. Back in 2017, he traded for Jay Ajayi, and that move helped push the Eagles over the top during their championship run. Not every move works out. Golden Tate in 2018, Robert Quinn in 2022, but the point is that Howie is not afraid to go for it. He'll pull the trigger if he sees value, and right now, the roster could use a spark. As for the current market, there's a long list of names that could intrigue the Eagles. Some might be a stretch, others more realistic. On the offensive side, players like Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, and Jacoby Myers have been floated around. Shaheed, in particular, is interesting. He's a legitimate burner, lightning in a bottle, and could stretch the field in ways that would open things up for both A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. He's the kind of vertical threat that can completely change how defenses approach the Eagles' passing game. Then there's the defensive side of the ball. Trey Hendrickson might be the top prize. He's had over 17 sacks in back-to-back seasons, and no one in the league has more during that span. Imagine what adding that level of pass rush could do for this defense. Cam Jordan is another name. He's older, sure, but still productive and brings veteran leadership. Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips from Miami are also intriguing options. Chubb has worked with Vic Fangio before, and Phillips is coming off an Achilles injury, but has loads of upside. And let's not forget about Reek Woolen, the Seattle corner who had 6 interceptions as a rookie. His play has dipped, but he's a physical freak, 6'4", blazing speed, and could be a classic buy low, high-reward move. So, the question isn't whether Howie will make a move. It's how big will he go? Will it be a splashy, headline-stealing trade or something more calculated and depth-focused? That remains to be seen, but it feels like something is coming. Now, shifting gears to what's happening with the team day-to-day, head coach Nick Sirianni spoke this week after the Eagles' mini-bye, and there were some interesting takeaways. First, he confirmed that the team used this time off to reset mentally and physically after a rough loss to the Giants. It's a smart move. Last year, the Eagles came off their bye and played some of their best football. Maybe this short break will have a similar effect. One big headline from Sirianni's presser was about the pass rush, specifically how the team plans to cope with the sudden retirement of Zadarius Smith. The Eagles are down to just 4 healthy pass rushers on the active roster heading into the Vikings game. That's not going to cut it. So what's the plan? Well, Jahad Campbell might be a big part of it. Sirianni hinted that the rookie linebacker, who was recruited to Alabama as a true edge rusher, could see more snaps coming off the edge. And when he's been used in that role, he's been effective. In only 23 pass rush snaps, Campbell has recorded 6 pressures. That's a win rate of over 26%, elite territory. He's got the size, athleticism, and instincts to make an impact there, and this could be the wrinkle that Vic Fangio introduces to shake up the pass rush. But the numbers don't lie. The Eagles have just 9 sacks through 6 games. That ranks 25th in the NFL. Their pressure numbers look better, sure, with over 100 pressures and top 10 in pressure rate, but the sack rate is near the bottom of the league. Simply put, they're getting close, but not finishing. And that's not going to fly if this team wants to make a deep playoff run. Sirianni was also asked about offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo and whether the team would consider changing play callers. He gave a simple one-word answer: no. That may surprise some, especially considering the struggles on offense. Philly ranks 22nd in points per drive, 28th in scoring percentage, 24th in yards per pass, and 28th in total yards per drive. Those are not the numbers you expect from a team with this much talent. Sirianni acknowledged the issues, but said it's a combination of coaching, execution, and individual performance. He also mentioned that the staff has identified some problems that they believe can be corrected moving forward. So with all this swirling, the trade rumors, the coaching questions, the performance issues, the Eagles walk into a hostile environment in Minneapolis, facing a Vikings team that's no pushover. Kevin Patullo will be matching wits with Brian Flores, one of the brightest defensive minds in the league. And if the offense continues to sputter, the pressure will only increase. But this is what makes football great: the drama, the stakes, the unknowns. While all eyes are on the trade market and the team's internal adjustments, it's the pressure on the field that truly defines the moment the Eagles find themselves in. This team entered the season with sky-high expectations after an aggressive offseason and a roster many considered one of the deepest in the NFL. But as the weeks pass, the cracks are beginning to show. And now, with the Vikings game just around the corner, Philadelphia finds itself teetering between redemption and regression. Let's start with the defensive front. The numbers don't lie, and they're not pretty. Despite generating a high volume of pressures, the Eagles simply aren't finishing plays. Through 6 games, the defense has only managed to bring down the quarterback 9 times. That puts them in the bottom tier of the league in both total sacks and sack rate. It's not just a matter of finishing, it's a matter of timing and closing. In today's NFL, if you can't generate consistent pressure and turn into sacks, You leave yourself vulnerable against high-powered offenses that know how to exploit even the smallest window. The absence of Zadarius Smith creates a massive hole. A veteran presence with proven ability to get to the quarterback. His surprise retirement threw the rotation into chaos. Josh Uche and Patrick Johnson now carry more responsibility, but neither has consistently shown the ability to change games with their pass rush. That's why Jahad Campbell is suddenly such a critical figure. He brings that first-round pedigree, that raw edge speed, and an explosiveness that Philly hasn't seen enough of this year. Jordan Mailata even compared him to Micah Parsons, a huge compliment and a sign of just how high the ceiling could be if he's deployed correctly. But still, you can't put all on a rookie. That's where the front office has to step in. Trey Hendrickson, Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips. These are names that not only make sense from a scheme perspective, but could drastically shift how offenses prepare for the Eagles. The difference between an okay pass rush and a top-tier one is often one elite addition. Hendrickson, in particular, feels like the kind of player who could transform this group overnight. With back-to-back seasons of over 17 sacks, he's not just good, he's elite. He wins with power, technique, and relentlessness, and he rarely disappears in games. On the back end of the defense, things aren't any more stable. Cornerback has been a revolving door opposite Darius Slay, and that's a problem when you're facing modern passing attacks that stretch the field horizontally and vertically. There's some noise around Reek Woolen, the tall, speedy corner from Seattle who broke out as a rookie but has regressed since. He's the type of project Howie Roseman loves. Massive upside, underwhelming current production, but all the physical traits you could want. If Vic Fangio believes he can mold him back into form, that's a move the Eagles should absolutely consider. Safety is another position in flux. Bringing back C.J. Gardner-Johnson would not only give the defense a lift in terms of talent, but it would also inject some much-needed swagger and familiarity. He knows the system, he knows the locker room, and he plays with an edge that this secondary is sorely missing. And if the Eagles can grab him off the Ravens practice squad, it's almost a no-brainer. It's not about making a flashy move for the sake of headlines. It's about putting players in the building who can make plays when it matters most. Now, turning back to the offense, it's been flat-out disappointing. Despite having stars at every key position, the unit ranks near the bottom of the league in several major categories. Whether it's points per drive, total yards, first downs, or third down conversions, the Eagles have simply failed to execute at the level expected. And it's not just one issue. The run game hasn't found its rhythm, the passing attack looks out of sync, and the offensive line, especially on the interior, has struggled to hold up. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In what could be the most shocking move of the NFL offseason, rumors are swirling that the Philadelphia Eagles have stunned the nation by announcing a deal for Buffalo Bills star quarterback Josh Allen. The news has sent shockwaves through the league, leaving fans and analysts alike scrambling to make sense of what could be a seismic shift in the NFL landscape. Sources close to the situation suggest that Allen, known for his cannon-like arm and dynamic playmaking ability, could be the missing piece the Eagles have been seeking to finally push them over the edge in the NFC. Philadelphia has been a team on the rise, blending a potent offense with a solid defense. But adding a quarterback of Allen's caliber would instantly elevate them into legitimate Super Bowl contender territory. While the Eagles' front office has not yet confirmed the details, insiders hint that the move involved a blockbuster trade package, potentially including high draft picks and key players. The league has seen blockbuster trades before, but few would rival the sheer impact of a quarterback of Allen's stature moving from Buffalo to Philadelphia. Fans in Philly are reportedly ecstatic at the prospect, while Bills supporters are left reeling, questioning what this means for the future of their franchise. Analysts are already speculating about how the Eagles' offensive scheme will adapt to Allen's unique skill set. Known for his ability to extend plays with both arm and legs, Allen could unlock new dimensions in Philadelphia's passing game, pairing with the team's talented receivers and creating mismatches for any defense. Meanwhile, whispers about locker room chemistry salary cap implications, and a potential domino effect across the league are fueling endless debate on social media and sports talk shows. If true, this would mark one of the most headline-grabbing moves in recent memory, a story that will dominate NFL discussions for weeks to come. Philadelphia fans are now dreaming big, imagining a team led by one of the league's premier quarterbacks, while the rest of the NFL braces for the ripple effects of this audacious, game-changing move. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.